Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this afternoon, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my PlayStation playing brother, Alex. Alex, how you doing?
You don't play any video games, do you? Or played?
No. I did very little when I was a kid, but that's only because that's where all the kids hung out.
I still play.
I've never been a video game guy.
That's my USA.
You know what's funny is, like, you and me both. We're guys, right? We do guy things. We hang out, drink beer. But there are two guy things that I absolutely do not do, and I know most guys your age, my age, right? 30s, 40s, do. Play video games and fantasy football. And I don't do either one. And I've done fantasy football maybe twice in my life. Video games, not since I was a little kid. Although I do play Candy Crush on my phone.
That's horrible.
No, it's great.
I like video games. It allows me to for an hour or so at home, my wife and kids. No, when I turn on the video games, I just want to be left alone. I just want to be left alone for an hour. That's it. I don't want to play a whole.
You're not
night.
Up all night playing.
No, not at all. But every now and then, put on a football game or whatever, basketball, whatever the case may be.
So you play sports video games, not like Mario Brothers.
I can't. Well, no, I like Mario Brothers.
Donkey Kong.
But the shooting games, I can't. I can't do them. I can't shoot, even on a remote control.
Really?
I can't shoot a real gun, or I can't shoot on a remote control.
You can't shoot a real gun?
No, probably not.
I'm actually a pretty good shot.
Are you?
I've been hunting a couple times and I'm good.
Yeah.
I went duck hunting once. That was fun.
I've played duck hunt. Actually, that had the little toy gun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you any good at it? No, because you can't shoot.
No. Well, never shot a duck. Watched any football today?
Yes, I did. I watched the shock that was the Tennessee Titans beating the Chiefs.
Man.
I say shock, but Tennessee has been really up and down, and Kansas City doesn't seem to quite be firing on all cylinders yet. I still have hope.
I'm shocked. I didn't. I mean, at home, I wouldn't have thought that the Chiefs would have lost. But
it was in Tennessee.
Oh, it was in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still not. I'm shocked that they lost, but I'm not shocked at how the Titans have been playing. The Titans have been playing fairly decent.
They've got some.
But I didn't think
some shit sandwiches recently, though.
Yeah.
They've played some pretty bad games lately.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm not surprised at are the Browns beating the Bills.
You called that.
You
called that last week, and I was like,
did.
"You're knucking futs."
And and I was scared for a minute because I'm like, "Oh, great! Baker Mayfield has the ball with under 2 minutes."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "This guy's not going to drive this team down the field," and he made some pretty good throws. Landry made some good catches, and Higgins caught the game-winning touchdown pass, and the Bills missed a field goal.
And now, here's the real... No, now, I just looked. Here's the biggest shock of the day. The Saints losing at home to the Falcons.
Yeah?
I mean, the Falcons...
Well, right before the game, Dan Quinn announced that he was giving up the defensive play calling.
Oh, really?
So could that have been the turning point in the Falcons season and him saving his job?
Maybe so, because the Saints only scored 9 points. So, I mean, it was a 26-9. It's not like the offense went nuts.
Okay, so does that loss worry you if you're the Saints?
No, not really.
Yeah, me neither. I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC, and I think they're getting a little. They've gotten a little overlooked, partially because Breeze hasn't played a few games, right? And nobody was really paying attention, it feels like. But, I mean, they've won the games that Teddy Bridgewater, except for one, right? That Teddy Bridgewater played in.
No, they won all of them.
Oh, they won all of them? All four?
The only game they lost before today was the game where Drew Brees went down.
Right, against the Rams.
So that's kind of Drew Brees and Teddy Bridgewater get the loss. They get half a loss, kind of like sacks. You get half a sack.
So, yeah, I still feel like the Saints are... I don't think there's nothing to worry about if you're a Saints fan.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I don't I don't necessarily agree that they're the best team in the NFC, but I wouldn't argue that they're not. So my point is, I think you can make the argument that Green Bay is the best team in the NFC. I think you can make the argument that the Saints are the best team in the NFC. I think you can make the argument that the Niners and the Seahawks are the best teams in the NFC. I think those 4 teams are really, really good, and I have a hard time cutting the difference between those teams. I think a lot of it would come down to where do they play, right?
Yeah.
If the Saints have to go to Green Bay, I would give Green Bay the edge. If San Francisco has to go to Seattle, I give Seattle the edge. If San Francisco has to go to New Orleans, I give New Orleans the whoever's at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a neutral site though.
I look at it as the Breeze. The Saints are probably the most complete team. I mean, when you look at their skill positions, quarterback, coaching, defense, it's a proven. What they have is proves that they can win. Like the 49ers are undefeated and all, and they're playing great, but this is their first year doing this, right? Like they kind of come out of nowhere to do this, and it shit changes in the playoffs. You play the game different, you coach different, just different environment. So I'm just looking at it like an overall picture, kind of going forward. I think the Saints have a better all-around team, which is why I thought they would be okay with Breeze down, because they have Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. They have a pretty solid all-around team.
But if you look at all of those teams, they all are pretty solid, right? Like if you look at quarterback, you got Rodgers, Breeze, and Wilson. We'll leave the Niners out of this conversation with all due respect, just because, like you said, they're kind of new to this elite field. So let's just go over the 3 that have kind of been there. Quarterbacks, you got Rodgers, Breeze, and Wilson. All 3 teams sport good defenses. The skill positions, I agree with you. I think the Saints have a bit of an edge. Coaches, Pete Carroll and Sean Payton.
Sean Payton,
right?
All day.
Sean Payton can make some bonehead calls and move sometimes, and Pete Carroll's.
But he'll give you some surprises every now and then, like
Well, as will Pete Carroll. The guy in Green Bay, obviously, we don't know enough. We don't have enough of a sample size on what he's capable of doing. So they're all really good. I wouldn't argue. Like I said, I wouldn't argue against. I wouldn't argue against the Saints. I wouldn't argue for the Saints. I think all 4.
You're just gonna play it safe.
I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna take all 4 of them as the best team in the NFC. That way, when one of them goes to the Super Bowl, I can say, "Hey,
that's right.
They're the best team in the NFC." The matchup tomorrow should tell us something, right? We got Seattle and San Francisco. Where is that game? Is that in Seattle?
I do not know, but I am gonna go on a limb and say there's gonna be some controversy in that game. It's in
San Francisco.
Seattle's got the sickest record on primetime football between like Thursday night games and Monday night games. The past 3 years, I can't remember what the record is, but it's just insane. It's a winning record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a winning record, and
like 7-1.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than that, but it's and for some reason they're always like in the middle of a tight, controversial game on prime time. I don't know what it is.
I'll tell you what may make one of those teams better than the Saints. The referees. Green Bay seems to get the blessing from the stripes more often than not. And Seattle's the same way. And the Saints are the exact opposite, right? The Saints seem to get hosed by the referees.
Right.
So that might be what makes for the best team in the NFC.
It might be.
Look, last year people would argue that the best team in the NFC was the Rams plus the referees. Right? Yeah. That's how they made it to the Super Bowl.
What a great win on Thursday night for the Raiders. They have, they went like a whole month and a half without playing a game in Oakland, and they have a decent team. Like Derek Carr is having a great season. Like I'm talking like 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, great quarterback rate. Like he's having a really good season. I think they got the rookie of the year in Josh Jacobs. That kid can run.
He's good. He was impressive on Thursday as well.
Yeah.
He was very impressive. Look, we were talking about this the other day, and maybe Vegas knows something we don't know because Vegas had the Browns favored today against the Bills. And I've heard some chirping about, in spite of how good the Bills have started and the fact that they are in the wild card spot right now, people talking about who's more likely to win the wild card or make that wild card spot. And there's more votes for the Steelers and the Raiders, now some of that may be popularity, than for the Bills.
Wow.
So, maybe people... Well, and the Raiders have been looking good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they have.
Not just Thursday, but it's been a few weeks now. They've looked good. They played good football. Their losses have been close situations where they just barely lost.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
they're looking good. Hey, who you got tonight between the Cowboys and the Vikings? This is in Dallas.
That game's in Dallas, right? Yeah. I think they're gonna. I mean, obviously, Dallas is gonna have a much tougher matchup with the Vikings than they had on Monday night. I'm gonna go with the Vikings, partially because I hate the Cowboys, and then the other half is because, Prescott's gonna face some pressure here, so he's gonna see a different defense than he has seen this year. They haven't played very good teams. We're talking Giants twice, Jets, Dolphins. So I think the Vikings take this game on the road in prime time.
If you look at Dallas's 3 losses, they're to the Packers, the Saints, and the Jets. And in all 3 of those losses, those defenses played extremely well. The Packers and the Saints have a good defense. The Jets just happened to play well on that day, and I think Prescott just had a shitty day. Minnesota's defense is as good, if not better, than those two. I'm talking about Green Bay and New Orleans. I think Dallas is in for it today, and I think the Vikings are going to put it on them.
And I mean, the Vikings also, when you look at their team from quarterback to wide receivers to running back, I mean, it's, Kirk Cousins has played pretty good this season, and I think Thielen is out, and they have a tight end, Kyle Rudolph. I mean, they have a decent team.
They have a very good team.
They have a good line too. So, the Cowboys' defensive line won't be able to get to the quarterback as easy as they did against the Giants.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a very tough matchup for the Cowboys, and I see more spots where it favors the Vikings than where it favors the Cowboys. The Bengals are 0-9. Are they going to win a game this year?
Man, 0-9. Are they the only winless team?
Yes, they're the only winless team.
What is let's see. What's their record?
Their record's 0-9.
What's their schedule like?
Let me tell you.
Because they may not.
Well, here's the thing, man. What do you mean? What's their schedule like? When you're 0-9, every game looks losable.
Let's see. Raiders. They're going to lose that game versus Steelers. They may come and play. It's a division game,
It's in Cincinnati
versus Jets.
There you go. Because the Jets look horrible.
I mean, they beat the Giants today.
The Giants look horrible.
The Jets came to play today.
Well, yeah, it was a battle in New York.
I mean, I'm saying all you need is one win and, ride some momentum. At Browns.
Well, see, they could win that one.
I mean, they got a few games on. They play the Browns twice, at Dolphins.
And the Dolphins. So wait a minute.
I mean,
they got 2 against the Browns, the Dolphins, and the Jets. That's 4 games.
Their strength of schedule here at the end is, really soft. We're gonna find out if they're much more softer.
Can you imagine if they go 7-9? They rip off 7 straight.
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, 4 of those teams are. Who else do they have?
Okay, if I go through the teams here.
Okay, Oakland's a loss, so they're gonna be 0-10.
Okay, Steelers.
They could.
You think they could?
It's in Cincinnati.
They could, right? But I mean,
it's in Cincinnati, right?
Okay, yeah.
They could.
Okay, home to Steelers, Jets.
That's a winnable game.
At Cleveland.
That's winnable.
At home to the Patriots.
Okay, they're not going to win that one.
At Miami.
That's winnable.
And at home to the Browns.
That's winnable as well.
I mean, they could win like 5 games right
They
here.
could go 5-2 the rest of the way. What a great way to build momentum for 2020.
Oh, yeah. It's all about looking forward, man. That's what life is about, right?
Hey, look, the Niners finished last season strong.
That's right. Look what's it equated to.
Yeah, I mean, they could start off 8-0 next year.
The best defense in 8-0. That's it. I'm going out on a limb. The Bengals.
Don't do that. The last time you went out on a limb about the Bengals,
you think
they shit the bed last year and they haven't won a game this year. You actually gave them the kiss of death for a year plus.
That's amazing.
That's a kiss of that's more than a kiss of death.
You know, I know we have a few listeners and watchers here, and they're not in on our group text between you, myself, and Jay. Mm-hmm. But if you guys were, I am the ultimate jinx.
We should post.
I will.
Post. You should screenshot some of that shit.
Seriously,
it's ridiculous.
I'll text them. You know, anything. Oh, this guy's gonna miss a field goal or whatever.
Yeah. Well, what about during the ALCS?
What was it
with the Yankees and the Astros, where you said something about the Yankees tied it up, and you said, "Oh, game over. The Astros are done." And then the Astros hit a home run in the that was the game, the Altuve game.
Game 2.
Yeah, the Altuve game. You were like, "Oh, game over. Right. Yankees won," and it was tied.
Right.
And Altuve. I mean, within minutes, Altuve hit that home run.
It's amazing. I am amazing. Johnny on the spot.
I'm telling you, I hope and pray that for the rest of your life you predict my death, because I'm going to live forever. Well, this is it. I mean, he's looking bad. He's going to die.
And it's funny. Almost, I think, year to the date, the Bills are on the verge of being cursed. Right? Because, I mean...
but the Bills, you've been spot on.
Right, I've been spot on, but I mean, it's...
You called that they would be 6-2 to start the season. You called that they would lose today to the Browns. Bills fans have to be shitting their pants, right?
Because Bills
they don't know what's going to happen now. Like, if you say they're going to win next week, they're like...
I did. I said they'll beat the Dolphins, remember? They'll beat the Dolphins.
Okay, that's not really...
But still...
if they lose, then that is the kiss of death.
I wonder... Yeah, no shit. I wonder how much I would be up if I bet $100 every week on money line on the Bills.
On the Bills,
yeah, right? I'll be up, right? I'll
be up quite a bit.
Yeah, I know.
Well, for one, they're 6-3, right? So you'd have 3 more wins than losses, right? And two, they haven't been favored in every game.
Right.
So
yeah, well,
they were actually underdogs today.
That's amazing.
Which I didn't understand.
I didn't either.
I thought that's got to be fake Browns love. That can't be wise guys betting that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that either.
I wouldn't have. I mean, I told you last week I thought they would win. I thought the Browns were toast because the Browns suck. I still think the Browns suck.
Yeah, I mean, they'll go and lose 5 now, so it's what the Browns do. The Browns brown.
The Browns brown. And then there's a shit ton of teams on the bye this week.
Yeah.
I don't like the bye week. Do you? I mean, it's good for the teams, and I like it for them. But as a fan, I want a full slate of games.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want the games. I want 2 things. I want 3 things changed about the schedule. I don't want bye weeks, although I'll leave that one be because I think it's good for the players, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't want the Thursday night game.
Agree.
And I want an even amount of games in the early afternoon and late afternoon. I don't like it when I get 10 games in the early afternoon and then I get 2 games in the late afternoon. Because every time they do that, the 2 games in the late afternoon suck.
Yeah, but I agree. I agree with all those, actually. But the good thing about having only 2 games in the afternoon, you can actually, you take a break, right? So you can take care of some shit.
I don't want a break.
Within 3 hours in time for the Sunday night game. It's all about planning, bro.
And the Sunday night game is always good. Because
for the most part,
it's very rarely not a good game. At least it's always an anticipated game.
Yeah, Monday night games have been really bad lately.
Yeah, well, Monday night game. Well, the problem with the Monday and the Thursday night games, those are scheduled. There's no flex.
True.
Right. With Sunday, they can move games out. So, like in week 15, when they realize, oh shit, the Browns are terrible, and so are the Bengals.
Right.
How about let's flex to this Pittsburgh-Baltimore game or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why the Sunday night game works.
Who's your MVP in the NFL right now? I went through it a little earlier, and so
it's got to be a quarterback, right?
Does it?
Doesn't it?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, no,
it doesn't have to be.
No. I think this year, I don't know that it is, because this is Lamar Jackson,
quarterback, by the way.
Quarterback,
okay,
or wide receiver, as most scouts thought.
That's right.
How dumb do those scouts feel?
God,
seriously,
did you see that spin move?
Oh, sick.
That looked like Barry Sanders. That looked vintage Barry Sanders.
He looks like Michael Vick right now.
Don't say that.
Between last week...
Don't say that.
Without the dogs. Last week...
Don't say that.
And he's a bird. Vic was an eagle.
Don't say that.
He's a raven.
Don't say that. Don't say it. No.
Why not?
Wait.
No, on the field I'm talking
Vick
about.
Was a falcon.
Another bird.
Good boy.
I know my birds, bro. Come on, man.
My blonde moment of the day.
Remember that part in Scarface when he's dancing with Michelle Pfeiffer when he first meets, and he's got the cigar and he's like, "What's your name?" And whatever she says, she said something Hancock or something like that.
I remember.
She's like, "Hancock, you sound like a bird or something."
He's got that massive cigar.
Oh yeah.
That's why he talked like that in that scene, because he had that big ass cigar. He couldn't talk.
Yeah, well, that accent was with and without cigar.
That movie is so good.
It's an old time classic.
That's one of my favorite movies ever.
I mean, whether you're inspired to be a drug dealer or not. I mean,
that movie doesn't have to be an inspiration. It could just be entertainment.
Right. Well, yeah.
Anyway, back to the MVP talk.
Okay, so
God, we went from MVP to birds to Scarface.
Yeah, that's we covered everything.
Man, we got to keep this car on the road. Come on.
All right.
MVP Lamar Jackson.
Quarterback.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is always the MVP because he's the best quarterback to have ever played football.
Walk on earth.
No, he walks on water as well. He walks on earth.
So he's
water.
Jesus.
No, he's Jesus plus. Jesus is the Son of God. Aaron Rodgers, I think he is God.
He's the God of God.
That's right. I get so sick and tired of hearing about how great Aaron Rodgers. How many Super Bowl rings does he have? I get sick of it because in any context, he's not better than Tom Brady.
No.
If we talk historically, he's not better than Tom Brady. And if I was going to build a team today, I would still take Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers because I'm only going to get a couple more years out of Aaron Rodgers than I am out of Brady. I'm still going to get 2 more years out of Brady, probably 4 years out of Rodgers. Yep. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back to your point. Lamar Jackson, Aaron. We got to keep this car on the road.
Drive straight. I mean, I guess you need to stop smoking.
I know.
Would you go to like an old smoke bar yesterday for the game?
No, I didn't. Jeez. Anyway, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I would put Russell Wilson above Aaron Rodgers, but we can include Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Wilson, you got to put him in there.
Russell Wilson. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
But Patrick Mahomes?
No, he's missed 3 games.
Okay. All right.
At the end of the season, when they're 12-4 and he's only missed 3 games, then yeah.
And put up ungodly numbers.
Right, but when you've missed 3 games out of 9.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of hard to.
Fair enough.
So you're saying it's going to be a quarterback?
And Christian McCaffrey. I think you have to put him in there.
That guy has been.
I think you have to put him in there.
Oh yeah,
he's
in the conversation.
The guy's playing with a backup quarterback. He's been the whole team on offense, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
I mean, he's third in receptions among running backs. I mean, he's balling out.
Yeah, he is.
I think he gets my vote right about now.
He has been incredible. And the only reason he's not going to get it
is because he's not a quarterback.
No, it's because he plays for Carolina. No one knows it.
I mean, all those guys, without all those players that we mentioned, the teams would be struggling, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't be where they're at. But, I mean, the Panthers right now wouldn't even be in the playoffs without McCaffrey on that team.
The Panthers are...
And they might be...
They're 5-3. So they're not quite in the playoffs, I don't believe.
Because
they would be they're the first team out.
First team out?
Yeah, they would be the first wild card team out because the Vikings at 6-3 and the Seahawks at 7-2 would get in. But
okay.
If they win right now, they're playing against the Packers right now. If they win, they'd be 6-3.
Right.
And the Vikings lose tonight, they'd be 6-4. So technically, Carolina would be in that second spot.
I don't know, man. I think McCaffrey would get my vote.
McCaffrey's numbers are insane.
He's gonna. Man, I would love to see him buck the trend, right? Because I mean, if he keeps up this pace, and let's say the Panthers sneak in there as a number 5 or 6 seed, shit, man.
How could you not give it to him, right?
I mean, you could give it to all of them, right? Lamar Jackson, but
well, yeah. I mean,
for a running back to do that.
Think about what those teams would be like without the person you mentioned, right? Mm. The only thing that would hurt McCaffrey is how much better would that team be if Cam Newton was there? Because then instead of 5-3, they might be 7-1.
See,
and if they're 7-1. We're talking about him every week, and he's the lead on SportsCenter and all that other stuff. So,
which, by the way, I don't know if they would be because Cam Newton seems to either need a change of scenery. I think he can still play if he's healthy, but they haven't been playing too well.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said if healthy.
Yeah.
Cam Newton's never healthy.
Yeah.
Not never, but he is. He's dinged up from the first week of the season, it seems like, every year. And that's why I don't think we see the best Cam Newton. The year they went to the Super Bowl, no injuries that year. I mean, he didn't miss any games. I mean, he was healthy as can be, and look at what they did. And so I think that's the problem for him.
I feel like
he just can't stay healthy. I mean, he just can't stay. He plays a bruising kind of game.
Yeah, he does.
He just gets beat up too much.
Now that I think about it, right after the Super Bowl, I think the first game that following season on Thursday night was against the Broncos. It was a rematch, and I remember him saying, that he was banged up in that game, and they were kind of hitting him high and everything. And since then, it feels like the injuries he's been on the injury report every week.
Every week. I think out of those 4 players that you mentioned, if I had to vote right now, I think I would give it to Lamar Jackson. Yeah. But it'd be close between him and McCaffrey. Because, look, the Ravens are 7-2. They are 1 game behind the Patriots. If the Patriots lose 1 game, the Ravens would have the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Wow.
Which means the path to the Super Bowl would have to go through Baltimore.
Right.
That is huge.
Yeah.
And that team is, completely revamped at his hands. Which, by the way, makes John Harbaugh the coach of the year as well.
Man, because it's hard to argue.
He's changed that team's identity to fit the quarterback.
Right.
You hear all these people talk about every time they talk about college players, and you get these ultra mobile quarterbacks, people talk about, but the coach would have to completely change their scheme. He'd have to get drafted into the right situation.
Right.
Well, John Harbaugh did it. Completely changed that offense around, and look at them now.
And
that's very impressive.
It really is
by both of them.
I never thought about that until you mentioned it, but that's what sports is, right? Or football. It's like in-game adjustments, and he's made a complete adjustment to fit
his personnel.
They drafted Lamar Jackson 32nd. He was the last pick in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody talked about how this guy was a wide receiver, and the Ravens took a chance, or maybe they didn't take a chance. Maybe they just knew this was the guy that they, wanted to.
I think that they took him half thinking he would be a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But when they got into camp and Flacco broke down mentally because there was another quarterback in the room,
which he's still broken down,
and this kid stepped up mentally.
Yeah.
I think it became easy. It became an easy decision to shift the game over to Lamar Jackson, and now that John Harbaugh, has had an off season to really revamp the team, that's what he's done. He's changed his personnel a little bit to fit Lamar Jackson, and he certainly has changed his game plan and game day schemes.
Yeah, impressive.
It's very impressive, and it just goes to show that in the NFL, man, you got to keep working. You got to keep working your craft, and I think I don't want to sit here and badmouth Joe Flacco, but Joe Flacco became a prima donna and kind of scared that there was another quarterback in the room instead of just working hard and sticking to his craft, and it blew out.
Yeah.
And now then he went to Denver, and it's blown out there too because now he's fragile. He's fragile between the ears apparently.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you got to keep grinding, man. The NFL is no place to be a prima donna or scared, or you play scared, you're not gonna play. It's just that simple.
Well, here's the thing too. Football, your career in football doesn't last 20 years like it does in the NBA for Vince Carter or Kobe Bryant. It's a lot more physical. So you got to get the most that you can. You got to put in all the work to get results.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's not going to last long.
It's not going to be a long career.
I would think that would be easier, right? You say, all right, I'm in the NFL. I just got to grind for 5 or 6 years. This is my career. This is what it's going to be. I grind. I get it done. And then I go on and do something else with my life.
Unless you're Frank Gore, who's been playing for like 15 years.
That guy's incredible. He's the human Gumby.
Yeah, seriously.
What else you got?
What else in the NFL? Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit the MVP talk because it could completely change.
It could get really interesting in in the next month or two.
Yeah,
right? 2 months. Yeah, all of November and all of December, just about.
I can't wait for Thanksgiving. Football, turkey. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's got to be. I really hate that. The business world is worried about making money, so they start pumping Christmas right after Halloween and just completely gloss over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, easy. Let's not gloss over Thanksgiving because that's my favorite holiday.
I got to eat.
That's right.
I don't get fed all year.
I don't understand how people haven't just gotten all up in arms about we gotta keep the love for Thanksgiving. Christmas will come. Look, Black Friday is Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
But, you can't gloss over Thanksgiving.
Plus, there's so many other days during the year that you get gifts. Because let's be honest, Christmas is about gifts. It really is.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
It is, right? But you got your birthday, you got Valentine's Day. Unless you're single, you're screwed.
You don't get anything for Valentine's Day. Shut the hell up.
No, I don't. But
most people
I give.
Oh, you do?
Well,
I thought you just skipped it all together.
Yeah, you're right. I just put that on for the fans. I don't give shit for Valentine's Day. She knows it. Look, there's too much going on in the first 3 months of the year in our family as far as birthdays and anniversaries and all that. Sorry. You get me. I'll put a ball on my forehead.
That's not gonna
call it a Valentine's Day.
That's going to ruin the day.
Well, look, here's the messed up part, okay? I know you. I'm not a big fan of going to the mall. I know you're not either. Okay, so when my wife and kids say, hey, let's go to the mall, let's go to the movies, I'm out. I don't do the mall. I just don't do the mall. Okay, so I'm sitting on my couch enjoying the game, right? And the family gets home from the mall and I see a bag in each hands. I got 2 kids. I got 3, but I only got 2 in the house right now. One's, out there doing her thing. My wife comes in and they all got bags in their hands. I'm happy to see them, right? And so I'm like, and they start showing me everything that they get and this and that, and my team's winning, right? And I'm like, man, I am sure there is something for me inside of those bags. Well, guess what? Dad don't get shit. So yesterday, when I finally say, you know what? It's family time. Where do you want to go? You want to go to the mall? Let's go to the mall. I'll tag along. We go to the mall. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit, guess what? We all come home with a bag in each hand. But guess what? Oh, daddy, nothing in those bags belong for daddy. So guess what? Screw the mall. Screw the shopping. I mean, I don't get nothing, bro.
I like going to the mall because, especially when I go with the entire family, because my son and I hate the mall.
Right.
So my son and I fuck off the whole time.
You get lost.
Yeah, we get lost. Man, when I was a kid...
You got lost, didn't you?
Yeah, when I was a kid, Mom and Dad... I'll never forget this. Mom and Dad used to yell at me all the time because we used to go to the big department stores, right? Mom and Dad would go buy clothes for them, right? Right. And I didn't give a shit. Yeah. Even if it was for me, I didn't give a shit. Right. I was like, I don't care. I don't want to be here. I want to go play. This is bullshit. So I'd go, and I would hide inside the racks of clothes, and my parents would freak out.
So you would hear them calling for you and looking for you?
Yeah. That's hilarious. And then I'd get scared when I couldn't hear them. Right. I'd be like, oh shit, they left without me.
Well, they went real far looking for you.
No, not when they weren't. No, like if I would be in there and I would hear them talking about whatever because they didn't realize I was hiding. Yeah. And then eventually they would go off and still not realize that I was hiding. And then I didn't hear them at all. And I'd come out and I'd be like, oh shit, where'd they go? And then I'm like, fuck, they left me at the mall.
Damn. Yeah, so see, that's why I don't like going to the mall. I don't care for the mall. I don't get nothing whether I go or not.
Yeah.
I get the short end. Dad gets the big piece of chicken.
I do all of my shopping online, so I don't worry about that shit. I'm an online shopper. I don't go to the mall.
Well, I mean, 2019, that's how you do it now.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like, even with the kids, when we shop for my wife, I'm like, all right, let's go shopping. We go to the mall, and all we do is come up with ideas and come home and buy it all online. Yeah. Well, so much for that, kids. Good job.
Yeah,
way to go.
That's definitely the easiest and most convenient way to do it.
So that's about it for football. The NBA season is a whopping 10 games in.
Damn. It feels like more than that.
It does.
Because I feel like I've watched too many games so early on.
There's no such thing as too many games. You may have watched a lot of games, but not too many.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. Good point.
Anything shock you in the first 2 weeks of the season?
So it's not a shock for me because I mentioned it on the preview a little bit.
Because you're all-knowing.
No, because I'm just,
that
come on, dude. I've guessed every result of the Bills' schedule. But by now I'm freaking Houdini.
6-3. Maybe you're just a Bills expert.
Maybe I'm just secretly a Bills fan.
Or maybe they are from New York.
Maybe I should become a Bills fan. I like the Bills Mafia, but
anyway, go on.
I'm not too surprised. Maybe a little bit, but I think most are. Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard has fucking played good. Like off the bench, he has contributed very well, and kind of he looks to have his head on his shoulders.
Well, he always has.
And to play basketball, you need that.
I am surprised, but I am not. I am surprised, but not convinced.
Not sold.
Right. Like I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised that he's been as formidable as he has been off the bench. But I don't expect him to last that way all season. In fact, I don't expect him to make it to the All-Star game playing high-quality basketball.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Because he's a head case.
He's still a... Well, here's the thing. There's a few factors here. Number one, he plays with LeBron. If LeBron does not like you by the trade deadline, your ass will be shipped. That's number one. And number two, he seems to be healthy. Like, he's in good shape. He's always been in pretty decent shape. And he's not expected to carry the first team, so he's coming off the bench. Right. So I think that allows him to, just kind of play a little
more freedom.
Yeah, a little more loose, right?
Maybe so.
So that's been, I think, the surprise of the season so far.
The big surprise for me has got to be the Phoenix Suns. When we did our NBA preview.
Did we even mention them?
I think we did, and the comment was, they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
We mentioned them along with like the Grizzlies, and we said, whatever.
Right.
But they are 6-3, right? Is that right? 6-3 to start the season.
Damn.
5-3 to start the season. They're in the 7th spot in the playoff chase. I can't believe we're even looking at that already, but you got it right. And
well, it makes for fun talk.
Yeah, it's impressive. All those young guys, they've got to come together. They've got to gel. It takes time. I understand that, but getting off to a good start helps that quite a bit.
Yeah. And without DeAndre Ayton, he got suspended for PEDs.
Is he out? How long is he out?
25 games.
Oh, they care about PEDs in the NBA?
They started to like 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, that's just crazy talk.
By the way, real quick, I don't want to bash on the guy. I know I do, but I'm not. This is not to bash him.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James.
You're gonna bash him.
Could it be possible that the guy is on PEDs?
Man, don't say that.
You don't think? I mean, there's no possibility.
I mean, there's a possibility. DeAndre Ayton isn't suspended.
Sure, he is.
He's got stats, bro.
Yeah, he got suspended after the second game, the second game.
Really?
Or first, yeah. What do you mean he's got stats from last year? Maybe.
No, he's got 3 games worth of stats. No, he's got 1 game worth of stats. He got suspended after the first game.
Okay, here's a quick.
So you can't say without DeAndre Ayton. Because they'd be only 4-3 without him.
Well, still. Because of Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Okay, how long before we start talking about, and the sports books around the world start having props on, is Kawhi Leonard playing this game? Right? Because I feel like this load management is... I don't care about it, to be honest with you. Number one, I'm not a season ticket holder to any team. If I was, maybe I have a different point of view. I really don't care about that Kawhi Leonard wants to...
Hold on a second.
What?
If the Nets start doing load management
on
with
Kyrie?
KD and Kyrie when they're both available, and right now you don't care because you see the Nets as a 4 or 5 seed,
okay,
make the playoffs. Maybe they'll make a little noise, but that's about it. But next year, when they have Kyrie and KD, and they look a little bit better, and they look like a team that might contend for the 1 or 2 seed,
right?
Where they could be in the top 3 seeds, right, which makes a big difference,
right? Wins
and losses. You telling me you're not going to care if they do load management with KD and Kyrie?
No, I don't. For one,
I find that hard to believe.
For one, Toronto did it last year, and it seemed to work out pretty well for them. Number one. Number two, that's not going to be my only chance to see KD and Kyrie. And, if Kawhi's not there, you still got Paul George. You know what I mean?
I think as a fan, I don't... Right. Most people are not season ticket holders, so I'm not speaking from the season ticket holder perspective. I'm speaking from the fan perspective.
Yeah.
If I'm a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, I know that it is important to get that 1 or 2 seed in the playoffs. So I want LeBron and Anthony Davis playing every night because I want to win as many games as possible. You do load management at the end of the season, right? When it looks like pretty clear that you're going to be one of the top 2 seeds. But I don't want to have to not have home court advantage in the conference semifinals. You know what I mean? So I think as a fan, it's different. I think as a fan, that's where the load management becomes a problem.
Yeah, I don't mind so much. Now, if it was just KD and a bunch of scrubs on the team, then yeah, I would have an issue with that. But if we're using the Nets as an example, I enjoy watching the other players on the team. If we're using the Clippers as an example, they still have Paul George who comes back this week or next week. And the game that they sat him out, you still watch the Greek Freak. That they play the Bucks, and it's an outer conference game, which
has a little bit less value.
A little bit less, right? But of course, you want to see all the players if they're healthy on the court. But I don't mind it too much.
Here's my problem with it. My problem is the NBA getting involved to fine the Clippers for doing load management or whatever the hell you want to call it. Because if that's the case, then the NBA needs to fire all the GMs and fire all the coaches and install their own coaches and GMs into the teams so that everyone can be run the way the NBA wants to run it. Look, back in the day, the Clippers were a shit show for years. A guy dumping salary all the time, dumping coaches because he didn't want to pay him. I mean, just doing shit. And no one said a word. They didn't fine the Clippers, right? They left them be. But now they want to fine the Clippers because they're doing this load management stuff with Kawhi. Shut the hell up. Get out of the way. Either you're going to be involved in the day-to-day operations of every single basketball team, or you're not.
Right.
You can't pick and choose. So are they going to go through every single injury report? And are they going to go through every single trainer in the league and say, look, how bad is that Paul George injury? Look, Kyrie sat tonight. How bad was it? Did he really need to sit?
Yeah.
You know, the Greek Freak. They probably don't call him the Greek Freak, but the Greek Freak. Was that, was it eyelashes on both eyes that were sprained, or was it just one eye? And was it his dominant eye or his not dominant? Shut the hell up. Right. Get out of the way. Let them do their job.
Yeah.
If that's how they want to run their team, then that's how they run their team. They will either reap the benefits in the playoffs, right, by having a fresh Kawhi, and Kawhi will all of a sudden play 30% better than everyone else because his load was managed, or they will pay the price of having to go to LA, right, and be the visiting team in the Staples Center.
How's that gonna work? They're home but not home. They're away but not away.
The Staples Center is a tough place to go play when you're the Clippers.
Yeah, no shit.
Especially against the Lakers. Actually, even when the Lakers come to the Clippers, it's a tough place to play for the Clippers.
Billy Crystal's like the only fan there.
Right, but you get my point, right? They will pay the price. It's a balancing act, right? Yeah. Don't teams do this all the time? Look, aren't the Warriors going to do it with Klay Thompson? How quickly will they bring him back? Right? Now, same thing with Steph Curry with the hand issue, right? How quickly will they bring him back? Is it any more important just because they're the worst team in the NBA right now? By the time those guys come back, they'll probably be eliminated in the playoffs. Do we no longer have to? Hey, man, Klay Thompson looks like he's ready to go. And Steph Curry looks like he's ready to go. You need to bring those guys back and play. Hey, man, we're 52 games out. It doesn't matter. No. You got to bring them. Again, be consistent. Do it all the time.
Right.
That's my beef with it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, they just shouldn't get involved, right? If it's the team's decision, then it's the team's decision.
And there's, like I said, there's a price to pay. Right? There's a price to pay. The Clippers right now are the 4 seed. Do you think they want to play? You do all the load management you want. Do you want to play the Lakers in the second round? No. You'd much rather play the Rockets or Denver, who are the 2 or 3 seed right now. Right? And, by the way, do you want to have home court advantage against Denver or not? Well, it's tough to play in Denver. You might want to have home court advantage.
No.
Right? There's a payoff. There's a trade-off there that, that's what teams are balancing all the time. And for the NBA to get involved, they sat him 1 game in October. Shut the hell up, leave him be.
I wonder if Kawhi negotiates this in his deal. Has to, right?
Absolutely.
Has to.
Absolutely. Because he was and I don't mean this in a bad way, but he was very sensitive about his minutes in San Antonio.
Yep.
He was sensitive about his minutes in Toronto. There's no reason to think that he's not sensitive about his minutes in LA.
Right.
And look, that's what this guy is. And oh, by the way, for the NBA who doesn't like load management, now if I put him in every night, even because he's healthy, right? I can't do the load management thing. Now I've got a pissed off Kawhi. How did that work in San Antonio? It didn't.
Right.
So not only do I have to manage him physically, I've got to manage him mentally as well. Because look, maybe Kawhi doesn't have the brain power to concentrate and go through the stress of an 82-game schedule. What do you want me to do? You want me to burn him out on purpose because he's healthy? What's your definition of healthy? What the hell do you know?
Yeah.
Right? You're the NBA. Run the league. Make sure the basketball's all round and orange. Let me manage Kawhi.
Yeah. I mean, should be that way.
Right? We've talked about this a ton in baseball. Certain managers manage a certain way. They get the hot streak and they press all the right buttons because it's a personnel thing sometimes. It's the same thing in the NBA with minutes and matchups. It's the same exact thing. You cannot be Doc Rivers. You are the NBA. You manage this umbrella of 32 teams. You can't go in there and mess around with what he does. Get the hell out of the way.
Well, they view it all as money, fans not going or whatever. But they should 100% not be involved in any of that stuff. Man, Kawhi gets a superstar treatment.
He's a superstar.
He is a superstar. I mean,
but maybe not the type of superstar that has the mental aptitude to play 82 games. So we need to rest him every now and then. That's our prerogative. Shut the hell up, NBA.
I think Kawhi just wants to play basketball on his terms, and all he cares about is playoff time. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about the regular season that much.
I don't know Kawhi, but Kawhi doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who absolutely loves the game of basketball.
No, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't care about the regular season. Yeah, he cares about the playoffs.
He enjoys his job, but he's not in love with the game of basketball. Right? Like, I think Kobe Bryant would have played, if they made him play every single night for 150 nights a year, Kobe Bryant would play every single night.
Yeah.
Right? Julius Erving would play every single night. Michael Jordan would play every night. Didn't care. They love the game. They love to compete. They love that. Kawhi's not that guy.
No. Which is fine.
That's fine. He's still great at it. Good. God bless. And, he's gotten to a point in his career where he can command that. So be it.
Yeah.
I don't hate the guy. I'm not mad at him.
Oh, no.
I'm jealous.
No.
Because I'd love to tell my job, look, man, you want me to be productive around crunch time, you got to give me every other Friday off.
I would
load management, bro.
Oh no, I would put in for to get out early, 2:00 every day. That would be perfect.
Look, right, I'm an accountant. I have a simple job, right?
You sit down all day.
I'm in the office. I'm in front of a computer all day. I deal with people. I'm on the phone. Blah blah blah. But if I could change anything of the 9 to 5 life, is I would have one day a week, call it a flex day.
Mm-hmm.
I can work from home, or I could just have the day off.
Right.
Right? Which maybe working from home would be a day out. I don't know. Instead of just the grind of 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah, I would go for a leave early every day.
Right.
I would be like, hey, I'll come in an hour earlier, but I need to leave, by lunchtime.
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Yeah. 1 o'clock. I would go to lunch at 12, come back and say, I gotta go.
Oh, no. You work till 1 and then go to lunch and just don't go back.
Right.
Have a couple beers. Right? Like during the NCAA tournament. Bro,
yes.
No one needs to be working Thursday and Friday afternoon that first week.
That's right.
Right? Just fucking watch basketball.
Yes, I agree.
You got anything else on the NBA?
Nah, man. What else happening? I can't think of anything else.
Screw it. Let's wrap this puppy up.
All right.
You got a shout out?
No. No shout out.
I have 2 because I knew you wouldn't have one.
Okay.
My first shout out goes to the Seattle Sounders, who today beat the Toronto
Raptors.
No, what do they call the Toronto
Saucers.
Soccer? What do they call the Toronto soccer team?
Oh, Toronto Canadiens.
No, that's not
Toronto Bacon Knights. The Bacon Bites.
Wow, I truly don't
Flounders?
know.
Isn't somebody Flounders?
No.
Is that Seattle?
Seattle's the Sounders.
Oh, I was close.
Not really.
Toronto.
Anywho, they beat Toronto 3-1 in the MLS Cup final to win the MLS Cup, which is...
What is that? Oh.
The U.S. version of soccer.
Oh. The U.S. version?
It looks exactly the same as everyone else's version, only it's much slower.
It's more American?
And it's more American. It's got American teams in it. It's the American version of soccer.
That's fucking hilarious.
And my other shout out goes to the LSU Tigers. The LSU Tigers yesterday Not only had they not won in 8 years against Alabama, not only did they have to go to Alabama, they went and they beat the brakes off Alabama for a good portion of that game. The final score was 46-41, but it wasn't that close. Alabama, it was a 2-touchdown difference. Alabama scored, and then to make it a 1-touchdown difference, LSU scored again to make it 2 touchdowns. They were up 2 touchdowns for a majority of the second half. Finally, they hit the onside kick and did not get it. LSU played a great football game. Very, very clean football game. No turnovers, not very many penalties. It was an excellent game. It was really the showcase of what college football is. My guess is that aside from the national semifinals and the championship game, yesterday's game was the best game we'll see all season. And I know we still have some big games left on the schedule, but
so far that's an instant classic.
That was an instant classic. Exactly. It was just a great football game, a tremendous atmosphere. The president was there. I don't know if they booed or not. I don't care. I know they showed him on the screen at the bar I was at, and I heard both. I heard boos, and I heard people clapping and cheering.
Huh.
Which is my guess everywhere, right?
I would guess at a bar people wouldn't care as much, even if you were pro or against or whatever, right? I figure you're too busy having a good time drinking.
Look, this is going to be my political statement of the day.
Oh no!
For all that shit that we hear about people hate Trump, there's a lot of people out there that love Trump. And when you get a stadium with 50,000 people, or you get an MMA arena with 20,000 people, or you get a baseball stadium with 50,000 people, look, there's gonna be people there that hate him, but you know what? There's gonna be people there that like him too.
Oh yeah.
And in a bar with 200 people, guess what? There's gonna be people that cheer for him. There's gonna be people that boo him.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
I get sick. My point in saying all of this is, for all of the media that says he was booed, bullshit. He was booed and cheered. For all of the media that say he was cheered, bullshit. He was booed and cheered. He is a polarizing individual, and people will vociferously express their support and their disdain for him. For anyone to say it's one or the other is incorrect. And it's, quite frankly, it's the media's attempt to be further divisive. That's all I got to say about that.
I'm surprised at a bar you would hear anything, just because it's just because of the setting, you know. Like,
it's that guy.
I would be so. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. At a bar,
he is the political equivalent of Floyd Mayweather in boxing. That's exactly what he is. In boxing, if you take 100 boxing fans and you ask them if they like Floyd Mayweather or don't like Floyd Mayweather, you would find 50 that like him and 50 that dislike him. You would find no one that says, I don't give a shit.
Right.
And that's what Trump is.
Right, no, but I'm saying booing or cheering at a bar for a president, I just find it hard to believe. You know, like I can't imagine it just because it's a bar.
Yeah, but like I said, that guy.
Maybe if it's a restaurant or something.
But that's just him. He's a guy that he's a guy that people either love him or they hate him. No one is in the middle.
Yeah.
Except for you and me, because we don't follow politics because we're not that educated. No.
Not my cup of tea. Yep.
Not my cup of coffee. Anyway, hats off to the LSU Tigers. Fantastic win. They certainly have the inside track to make the college football playoff now, and just a great performance all the way around.
Sweet.
You got anything else?
No.
I do have one public service announcement. You have not mentioned it, and I'm surprised. But as you can see, for those of you watching on YouTube, those of you listening on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean probably don't see this. I'm looking pretty scruffy, right? I have not shaved in 10 days. Why? because it's No Shave November.
I thought it was No Nut November.
No. That's for, I don't know who that's for, but it's No Shave November. And people always ask me why I do it. People always wonder what it's all about. People think it's just guys being lazy. I don't know what it's turned into, but it originally started off as No Shave November. You wanted to change the face of men's health. So tell the men in your families to get themselves tested. Don't be afraid to go get a colonoscopy or prostate check and all that neat stuff. Get your doctor's appointments. Take care of your health. As men, we tend to be tough and we tend to put on a brave face and we don't need to go to the doctor. But look, man, the fact of the matter is that almost every cancer out there is curable if it's detected early. So, for November, I don't shave. I grow some kind of facial hair, mustache, goatee. This month I'm going with a beard. So, change the face of men's health. Tell all the men in your life and your family that are important to you, tell them to go to the doctor, get their annual checkups, get their physicals. The best way to take care of yourself and last a long time on this earth is to routinely go get your physical and make sure you're A-OK and tackle your problems head on.
I wonder why we picked November. I mean, if you're a married man, there's got to be pictures involved, family pictures involved, right? So November would probably not be a good time to not shave.
Maybe because it's cold.
I guess so.
What's other cold?
I don't do the no shave November.
You don't shave all year long.
And I do the no shower November. I like that better. I don't have I waste less water. My water bill's nice and low. I like it like that. You ever heard of wipies? Cottonelle? Come on, man, just wipe down, bro.
That's right.
Wipe down or wipe up.
Yeah, just wipe. Well, if you want to tell us about your thoughts on the NFL, the NBA, sports in general, No Shave November, or anything else, you can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of this guy, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
For all those people that listen to the podcast, when I say this guy, I'm talking about Alex. And Alex is on Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1. If you want to get a hold of me, Ed Montana, you can do so on Twitter as well, at eMontana21. With that, we've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. Thank you as always for listening. Thank you as always for watching. Thank you as always for commenting and sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate it greatly. Mm-hmm. And as always, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.